Hi,
Hey Dina,
good
how
morning.
you doing?
I'm
Good night
well.
for me.
Good night for you.
Yeah, pitching to investors today feels like I would say like online dating during the blackout. You're trying to show your best side, but nobody's sure if you are a real person, if the platform still works, or if you're trying to sell something, or if it's a Photoshop. I think that's kind of what's happening right now between cross markets between US and Israel investors. There's real challenges. There's war, there's tariffs, and I would like to join our audience and ourselves to be on the journey to break down how to survive, how to win in this crazy world of business, pitching, cross-market deals.
So, yes, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think since we started doing this podcast, a lot of, excuse me for the word shit, happened. And if
Still
we're speaking
happening.
about, right? What did you say?
It's still happening.
It's still happening. There's the war, there's the tariffs changing. There's just, as you discussed, there's just so many things. It feels that not only that we're blind, but we're also deaf, and we also we don't know what happens next. So for our viewers and for our future viewers, we decided to try to break it down. There are few crucial things that have to happen before you go to meet up with investors, during your meeting with investors, and also after. And it really is different when you address the international component. Forget about everything else we just described. So because this is your speciality, you work with companies and investors in both in Israel and in the United States. We decided to come up with this, I guess, special, to create just few episodes that each discuss what you need to know, what you need to do when you want to get in an investment or you want to sell in the United States. And at the same time, if you're in the United States and you want to sell or invest in Israel
Well, or Middle East, right?
or Middle
So
East. Yeah.
absolutely. And I think, 2025 is not 2020. Um, we already passed COVID. Some people still there, but we after COVID. New things around, tariffs, security situations, venture capital is slow. We're relying much more on smaller angels and smaller VCs. But yet, companies and smart companies is still rising. Innovation are continue to lead the world and the way it should be, and to expand and to win. And for us, the bridge maker, as we call that, and the culture bridge makers and the business bridge makers, we would like to help our audience, our investors, our founders to have the critical and the business tools to succeed and win and pitch.
I love the bridge makers. I love it. I think we need to make TV series on Netflix just about that. About things that can go wrong and do go wrong when it comes to investment, both the Middle East and the United States. I want to address this before we dive in, that you said it's not 2020 anymore. It's like, Dorothy, we're no longer in Kansas. I think one of the things that humanity as a whole understood during 2020, that whatever reality we thought is just secured or more or less, um, normal, there's just no such thing, right? We went from just, crazy pandemic. Then we had the war. Then we had, I don't know, like there's just no actual stability. And maybe there was never actual stability, but I think people now are more aware of that. On one hand, some people are more willing to take chances, especially now during wartime in Israel. It's actually a great opportunity. And, everybody who knows anything about business knows this, right? That's what you also said to me. But at the same time, a lot of people are actually backing out. This is something that also happened to them from the last few years, from the last 5 years. They are very cautious and they're worried. and the money is just sitting there, right? And not doing anything special, which is not good either. So I think this is something we want to address. Today is going to be all about what we do before we get to a meeting, right? Before we start. Like, where do we start from? What do we do, Joseph?
So I think topping to your last 2 points is tool number one is understanding the investor map. If you are in US, then you have to understand the demand, the stability revenue demand, the clear go-to market, the supply chain, have the right answers in front of you, understand how the tariff will affect that. And if you are an Israeli startup, then you have to show your resilience. You have to show your global scaling path, not just, okay, we have big hopes. And in practical way, you have to come with plan A, which is growth, and also plan B, which is the pivoting. How do you pivot if you have a global condition? If you have a global condition shift, at least as a founder, you want to make sure you're presenting a plan B. And the more you have in your toolbox, plan A and plan B, it's going to help you, A, to prevent as many mistakes or questions that will come from your committee or from investors. And B, you're going to be much better.
So basically, you're saying do your homework. Do your homework, understand who you're dealing with. For many episodes, actually, we address the differences, the cultural differences between Israel and just generally Middle East and the United States. So I think this is part of the homework, but also understanding where our investors are at right now. They're not even only personal state, psychological state, business state. Maybe some of them or a lot of them lost some money right now during what's going on in the United States. So can you give I'm just thinking about like practical things today. Is there anything, let's say like 3 things we can give our investors, not investors, I'm very sorry, the people who want to get investment, the startup founders, the people with the plan, what should they really do? Like if we're discussing homework, what should they do? How should they go about their research before they get to actually booking a meeting with an investor?
So I will say even a slight point before they booking a meeting is understand that there is a gap, there is a trust bridge gap that we need to cross. And we can talk for hours about the differences in culture, and I think we spoke about it, and I'm sure we will continue to speak about it, about the timing, about the pace, about the cold calling, about which platform to use. I think we spoke about the delta between pitching to American, and there's a series of steps they have to take versus jumping on a WhatsApp call in 10 p.m. like I did just today, and I was like surprised that the person says, "Yeah, sure, I'm gonna call you in 10 minutes on WhatsApp," and this is a billionaire. Anyway, and we had a great conversation, but he's Israeli, so that works fine. It would never work in US. But to your point, there is a trust bridge that you need to make. And how you want to prepare for that, I think in few points. Less hypo and more real operational details. Much more operational details. If you want to pitch, be specific how it's going to work. And compared to pre-COVID or pre-tariffs or pre-crazy times, when you want to sell big vision and mission, be practical. Be practical on operation. Number two, focus on what you can control. Which system and procedure you as a founder, you as a team of operators can really implement and have in place. It's really crucial to address that in the first stage. And lastly, I think focus on the agile, the resilience, the tactics that will take you to win. Basically, you have to rise. The critical question is what could go wrong and how we will fix it. And that's usually one of the questions that I will ask a company or a founder that comes to me and trying to pitch. And I'll say, I don't want to be surprised. Tell me, it's not about you, it's about me. What's in the worst case scenario can go wrong? And if you have that answer prior to pitching, you will come much more prepared because you will be 5 steps ahead compared to anybody else.
I want to ask something that just came up into my head. Like, first of all, these are very good, very, very good tips, and it's really structured well. I wanted to ask, should I address the elephant in the room? I'm just going to be an Israeli and just say it. If I'm an Israeli startup and I want to go and either sell my product in the United States or find investors, there's a lot of tension. There are people who do not want to do business with Israel because of political reasons, and not political reasons. There's anti-Semitism, and there's just practicality, as you said before. People are very worried. You know, there's a war over here, and things can go south at any moment. Um, so, like, how should I address it? Should I come and just raise the flag and say, "Hey, everyone, I'm aware I'm from Israel. I'm aware there's such and such, and here are the solutions that we are presenting to you, so you'll be safe, you'll be okay no matter what." Or should it just kind of go around it and not emphasize it, not put a lot of emphasis on it? What do you think? Emphasize.
So I can tell from my personal perspective, who's traveling across the United States in different states, blue states, red states, working with people from different countries and different cultures and different beliefs. I personally do not ashamed of who I am. I wear very proudly my American and Israeli flag on my as a pin, and most of the time, I'm getting only positive and questions, biblical questions, religious questions, startup questions, um, security questions, resilient question, humanity questions. So I'm really standing proud, and I don't mind to talk about it with anybody. At the same time, business is between people, and the only way people can do business is by sitting around the table. I cannot fix the problems in Israel, and I cannot fix the problems in Washington. But in the same time, we can take real people and really fix problems that are challenging the world. And unfortunately, or in a good way, a lot of these challenges and their solutions coming during recessions. All the biggest innovations in the world happen during downtime, happen during critical crises. So the more you squeeze Israel, the more Nobel Prizes will come out there. The more you squeeze Israel under war, unfortunately, the more startups will come. And lastly, if you're an investor, what's going to happen in the worst case scenario? Oh, your CEO will be deployed to the army service for 1 year, and half of your company cannot come because they stuck in the bomb shelters, and so and so and so. That's the worst case scenario. Well, we have companies with founders and CEOs and board members who are working double, triple shifts and still deadlines being in place. So if I'm an investor and I have a company, and despite all the challenges and the war and all the complexity, the company is still running and running very, very well. Basically, the worst case scenario already happens. So if I have a chance now to invest on 10 cents on a dollar, this is the time.
You said a few very important things. First of all, I think, and most importantly, and this is something that I'm also connecting to very much as marketing expert, you are who you are, and trying to disconnect your personality and I don't know, you from your product is especially if you're the face of your company, is just, it's impossible. I'm not saying you have to like start arguments with people and demand them to agree with you on a political level. No, but we are, as human beings, if we really work on ourselves, we can connect to almost anyone else. We can find things in common as long as we are both human. Okay. So what I'm saying is, from what I hear of what you said, and it's very important that the pitch shouldn't be disconnected from situation. I shouldn't just come and be like, okay, I'm in a void. Let's not discuss the elephant in the room. No, if I'm coming from Israel, I'm from Israel, and I have worries just as you guys. And this is what we did in the last already year and a half. And this worked. This didn't work. This is something we're working on. I guess the word would be maybe transparent, and at the same time, the fact that you're still there, still standing, you managed to go through a huge crisis, and there's a lot of resilience and a lot of creativity in you. It can speak only on your behalf. One thing I do want to tell you, Joseph, as right now, if I'm going back like to the hat of an Israeli startup owner, let's say a founder, there the market slowed down. There are a lot less startups who started in 2024. Right now, 2025 is looking a little brighter, but obviously it's not the same condition that was before the war. So my question to you, and I think maybe that should be our last, we're trying to be on time here, but how is it viewed from the United States point of view? Because there's just the feeling of like everything is slow, everybody's waiting all the time, but things have to happen. We cannot just continue sitting and waiting. You can wait for a week, for 2 weeks. You cannot wait for 2 whole years. Obviously, you have a company here to run. You have a startup to develop. So, is this slowing down of the market, slowing down as the startup world is concerned? Is this also something you see from the United States point of view, from the investors' point of view? What do you see?
Yeah, well, so definitely a lot of things happened lately from the new government, and some people saying, well, there's election, and then after election, well, let's see what's going to happen. And then, okay, so then what's going to happen with the tariffs? And now with the tariffs, what's going to happen with the nuclear agreement with Iran? And then, and so and so and so. But I think at the same time, we live in the times where it's going to be probably the major shift of wealth in this era. The major shift. And for the real investors or entrepreneurs who see a cross-border opportunity and they really turning on the radar on that, in the chaos, opportunity shifts. So in cybersecurity, in defense, in climate, in agriculture, in AI, especially in logisticals, parts fields, in healthcare fields, we see a major involvement. Yes, food tech is going slower, other industries going slower, and that's part of the ecosystem. Some companies not going to survive. Some companies who leverage too much not going to survive this shift. And look at Fortune 500. Every major crisis, it's not the same companies. Not every company should be there for the rest of the time. So that's our job, to connect between people, create bigger trust, connect between corporations and governments and turn them into people who work with people, and trying to be in the very essential. It's always the question, okay, I just spoke with somebody who makes shoes. Like people are always going to make shoes, or medicine or food. It's not going to go away. So how do you tap in this market? How do you use opportunity? How do you utilize the tools? How do you utilize the new shifts? So
It's
there's
very
no one
important.
answer, depending on where you are and how do you make a lemonade from a lemon. But yes, it's challenging. It's not easy. People not writing checks as you go. people not throwing term sheets on you as you, hey, I have a good idea. Just give me $5 million because I have social security number. No. But in the
I
same
would like to
time,
live in that time. When was that time that people just handed out 5 million for a good idea?
yeah, yeah,
I don't
I'm not
know.
sure I
I
want
don't
to do
know.
that.
I'm very hopeful. I think we said a lot of important things, and I think in the next episode we need to dive a little more in how we recognize those people who are willing to take the chance on both ends, who are willing, who understand the I guess the dangers, we'll say, or the challenges, but at the same time they're willing to take upon themselves all the uncertainties and do the investment and how to address them in the most proper way. So we are continuing next week with our process over here of how to pitch and how to find those investors, how to go to them, and what to say when we're there at the meeting. I want to thank you very much, Joseph. As always, a great pleasure. I learned a lot, and hopefully everything we spoke about today is going to help our viewers, and we will continue.
Yeah, for
Thank you.
great partnerships and great businesses and great bridge makers.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
So until next time, thanks. I was
Bye
Dina.
bye.
Joseph, good night.
Bye bye.